Hello, welcome to the Oracle of the Feather Crown Tree. This is the Divine Feminine Energy reading for the week. I also do one, of course, for the Divine Masculine Energy. You could take this as a love reading if you wanted to. You could take this as a reading to balance the feminine and masculine within yourself if you consult both. And you can also take this as a reading to really bring you into rapport and harmony with the aspect of what's divine within your life. So how to really connect spiritually to the highest of the highs for yourself. So I'll explain as we move through the different card positions what they represent. I will do an intuitive interpretation at the end. Look for a timestamp below if you want to jump ahead to that. And we'll start. I'm just going to briefly introduce intuitively the crowning card, which is from the Kama Sutra deck, though we may readdress it a little bit later in the reading again. We are seeing here the feminine energy really sort of veiled, but not hidden. And the veil, almost to some higher consciousness, is very transparent, very like she's not really all that disconnected from it. There's a sense of like kind of cosmic knowledge that she's cloaked in ever so loosely, where this energy is. In her embrace with the masculine energy, there's definitely a embrace here, not only physically but mentally, and a real pairing of seeing these energies working together and seeing into the soul of each energy with a certain amount of understanding. There is something to be some sort of sense of structure that is very sound, that is built with these energies. And although they may be taken with themselves, like in a rapture with one another, they do have access, if they were to look together, to something that could unlock something in reality, should they be wanting to do that. So that is a pretty lengthy intuitive interpretation there of that card. So we may go back to it again, but if you want more of that style of the reading, just look for the timestamp. So I'm going to go into reading the cards from the books right now. And we will start with the bottom left position here in the pyramid. That entire row is representing what's hidden, what's in the subconscious layer. And we are starting with this deck, the Shaman's Oracle, that really represents what's been programmed into our energy from our ancestry, things that are so profoundly deep that, you know, it's not our immediate family, but just as far back as we could possibly go in a historical setting of where we come from. So you have the Dancer of Beginnings. This dancer raises his or her hands as if in greeting, embracing the moment of beginning, the point of transformation from the seed of intention to the fullness of action. The Dancer of Beginnings represents a transpersonal energy that bursts out of the shadows, infusing everything that surrounds it with the potential of becoming more than it is. The dancer can refresh our vision of ourselves and of our lives, helping us to see beginnings where perhaps we once saw endings, and to breathe new life and possibility even into the familiar and the routine. The next card over is from the Oracle of the Black Doves of Africa. And this week you got Justice. Now, this card is in the position of what is in your environment. So anything that you perceive in your day-to-day reality that you identify with as outside of yourself. This is the media, this is your friends and family, co-workers, your neighborhood, anything in your environment. So the Justice card here. The court is in the heart. Communions placed a scarab over the heart of the deceased to symbolize resurrection after the judgment of the soul. Everyone has, at one time or another, felt betrayed by circumstances. We are disillusioned or disappointed. We often complain that life is not fair and retreat into a self-pitying state. It rarely occurs to us that the circumstances and/or conditions we attract are in direct alignment with a thought process that preceded and facilitated the manifestation of events. We never doubt or question the necessity for the existence of natural laws for all things to remain in order. Yet somehow we forgot that we, as the microcosm, are also subject to universal regulations for the exact same purpose. As a result, we miss opportunities for growth by blaming other people, fate, bad luck, a lost charm, anything but taking the time to examine how we may have lost balance. If you get the Justice card in a reading, it may be a warning to avoid perpetuating yourself as a victim to yourself or others. Seek not pity or revenge at this time, but instead analyze how your choices and decisions contributed to the outcome of the situation. If you go deep enough, you will recall all the ignored hunches, reservations, or red flags. They were there. The next card over is what is in the subconscious that's actually something that's beautiful, and it's okay. It's in the shadow, but you've integrated it for its higher purpose. And you have from the Flowers of the Night deck, transformation, the Angel's Trumpet. A change and perhaps even a new beginning is approaching, and it would be wise to ensure that you are armed with the truth before it is upon you. There is also the very real possibility of having to face a difficult challenge. So be sure to make yourself aware of any negative influences, knowing that they will make progress easier. What is it that you need to let go of at this time? This is a great period to release anything which you no longer need or which you may be hanging on to with a false sense of security. Listen to messages, feelings, or inner knowing. It may be a little hasty at times, but the information you need to move forward, to change a situation, and to grow is there. And the last card in this row is representing anything that you may have repressed emotionally. We're going to take this from the Japanese water crystal oracle. And you have, from the wisdom section of this deck, the card emotion. To be affected by strong emotion and vibration is the best energy source. The more emotion you have every day, the more energetic your life will be. Oh, thank you for that message. Okay, we are going to shift up into the higher realms and take a look at what energies are going on there, and then we'll finish off in how we can integrate both the higher and the subconscious realms into our daily reality. So I do kind of have this reading set up so it has a slight east-west thing going on here. So from a more Western perspective, I'm taking a card from the Angel Oracle deck. and you have forgiveness this week. This is the angel that resides in the heaven of creation. The function of this angel is to help us forgive and release the past. The gifts for Earth are, it can help us to honor and empower ourselves when we forgive others, live in the present when we forgive the past, create the space for intimacy to thrive when we forgive others. The angel is seen holding the lily of purity, with which it blesses those asking for forgiveness. Brotherhood is a natural consequence when we forgive others. Forgiveness means we release the tears of past hurts and the anger of past resentment to live with the love of the angels. And the card next to it is from the Buddha Wisdom Shakti Power deck, and you have the Sri Yantra, the cosmic map to your true, playful, laughing self. Lalita is the playful red goddess who in her delight creates all of manifestation. Her yantra is a map of the emergence of energies from her most inner subtle vibration to the most outer coarse level of form, the level we see with our eyes. The central point is the scintillation of the goddess herself. She can be compared to the first words in the Christian Bible. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The energy sound waves vibrate outward, surrounding her with 5 downward-facing triangles of female energy that intersect with 4 upward-facing male energy triangles. Their convergence creates the universe. The next level of energy is represented by petals containing the Sanskrit vowels and consonants. The energy of this level is knowable to us as sound and therefore language. People commonly say Sanskrit is a holy language. Perhaps the early languages were more connected to the divine than languages that evolved out of them, because they were born at a time when people were closer to nature and their own selves. Feelings and impressions coalescing into ideas formed into sounds that came from a heart less obscured. The petals are surrounded by an outer square representing the earth. It has doorways or gates called Pura. This is where and how practitioners can engage in practice to connect to Lalita. The topmost gate is the Eastern Gate and represents the way of mantras. The Western Gate at the bottom represents the performance of rites and rituals. The Northern Gate to the left is entryway via the path of intellect and wisdom, and the Southern Gate is an entryway through bhakti, the spirit of devotional love. The earth level shows Ganesh and the matrikas, 7 ancient fierce mother goddesses. And this level, we see energy and interpret it with our eyes. And so the energy running through the filter of our brain looks like human and animal form. The matrikas make the mudra gestures, fear not, and granting of blessings with their central hands, and their other hands hold implements representative of their states. Ganesh to their left is in the first position, because in any ceremonial worship it is common to first invoke Lord Ganesha's help, as he is the remover of obstacles. Bhairava is standing in for his matrika consort. Radhani, because he is often placed at the end of the line of matrikas. So we are going to look now at how to integrate some of these energies, and we're going to start really with what can be embodied energy-wise. And the card that we have is the Divine Androgyny. The blessings of this card are felicity in married life, raising the Kundalini energy, transcendental knowledge of universal oneness, and the ability to harmonize opposing viewpoints or forces. What we are holding in our psyche here is the womb from the archetypes deck. Everything has an origin story. The womb archetype asks us to contemplate the beginning beyond the mother in a world that often negates the power and necessity of feminine principles. This card returns us to the warmth, tenderness, and sacred intelligence from which we came. It is a card of receiving, not achieving, of accepting love from the mother of us all. She is the life-giving force that forgives and cherishes even the most wounded and disparate soul. No matter how lost you are, the womb awaits your return to help you heal and grow. This card is a call to keep things simple, to return, to be reborn. In the name of love, the womb is everywhere. It is beyond gender, beyond time. We are within it, as it is within us. And the last card is really the action that can be taken to integrate and put all this energy and knowledge into the world. So from the Starseed Oracle, you have the Seas of Mintaka, seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to light. Mintaka is thought to have been a water-based planet containing the most crystal clear waters you could ever imagine. So clear that you could see for miles and miles underwater. The Seas of Mintaka card represents this crystalline clarity of potential and possibility. It's about the ability and choice to see the potential in all people and situations. This could be one of your natural traits, or it could be a sign that what you're currently doing has great potential. Mintakans are thought to have been a galactic race who saw the light in everything and everyone. You may have received this card as confirmation that a situation or project has extreme potential and will reach fruition. If it appears in a spread, it is a very positive sign that things are working out for the highest potential of all involved. It is a very uplifting, light-filled card that brings great harmony and contentment and positive outcomes. According to Carl Jung, that which we do not bring to consciousness appears in our life as fate. When water appears in dreams and art, it often represents the unconscious mind. Pulling this card also means you may be called to bring to light any unconscious patterns of which you're unaware, to look at them and see them clearly and consciously, so they don't appear in your life as fate. What unconscious patterns or behaviors are ready to be brought to the light of day? Okay, so Divine Feminine. Let's move into the intuitive part of this reading. I'm seeing something here kind of buried in the past that has you feeling a little bit like you're flailing. It's not quite a graceful dance. It's sort of feeling almost like hysteria. And I'm even getting like a mother energy off of this, some sort of parental energy, and you have maybe a lot of things that you're trying to care for, and there's just sort of this disconnect and wildness to it, but also a certain amount of illumination coming from this connection to something higher and something of the earth that you're powerfully channeling. So almost a feeling of ecstatic dance is what I'm getting through that. There is something in your environment that may have you feeling like you have a heavy heart and that it's sort of disconnected from things. There's a bit of a feeling of magic and whatnot around you, but you're kind of disconnected, I guess, from that energy and not really sure how you can weave love into your surroundings, how to intertwine those two energies. There is a feeling of maybe being a bit of a person of the night this week, like maybe you're keeping later hours, enjoying the nighttime more, and seeking things at night that will be very bountiful for you, that you're searching for, that are probably of a very divine nature, something that could bring you a lot of nourishment or beauty, fulfillment. You're sort of split between feeling very secure emotionally, very like in knowing how to form your emotions, letting them crystallize for you, and also having ones that maybe feel a little bit out of focus. Not all aspects of your emotional self are being acknowledged and fully integrated into your reality. There is definitely a energy that is connected to feeling grounded, feeling protected, feeling like you have very strong, stable footing this week. It's an energy that's giving you a lot of power and a lot of peace, and it's also allowing you to move on to the next phase from that stability, which is really about expressing a greater creativity. And you're doing that with a certain amount of purity and beauty and just simple respect. There's also the sense that something very divinely orchestrated is all coming together, that there is a plan bigger than you that's really in true harmony. All parts of it have come together and merged and is very, very functional. And so you can draw on this energy as a big source of power. It's almost like a super plan that you have access to. So when we're looking at how you're bringing these energies all together, we're seeing that you're very balanced this week, and in almost like a play with everything around you. So yes, I see like you really holding this energy of just playful wonder and engagement with your surroundings in every aspect. You are also really secure in your foundation of spirituality. There's not a black and white thinking going on here. It's more of a triage of of energies that are producing sort of an awareness that gives you a psychic portal to something very, very deep and wise within you. And this is glowing almost with a certain essence that can be growing, that you might be able to release into your physical surroundings. But as it is now, it's showing up as something that you're very passionate about. Maybe it's a way of thinking, a certain type of consciousness that is just exhibiting itself through this expression of heightened passion. And when you're stepping into the world, it's like so gorgeous, and it just feels like you want to dive in and swim, or just look in awe at your reality, and you're seeing the magic everywhere, and you're seeing how everything integrates with a sense of magic, and that quality is so necessary to a sense of bliss for you this week. And I'm just going to revisit your crying card one more time to see if anything else comes up here. There's definitely, I'm getting like a womb-like energy, like the portal is through this sort of divine womb that is almost majestic, and it's fused so much with the built quality, the stability of this masculine energy. So I'm definitely getting that there is a reflection in your outer reality through the balance and an embrace of the masculine and feminine energies, that like within, what's within is being expressed around you. And it's quite stunning, and it may lead to something bigger that you didn't even know exists yet. Like there may be something that presents itself as an opportunity for you in the near future that needed you to bring this energy into balance first to receive it. So thank you so much for joining me for this. I do these weekly, so feel free to show up next week for them, and check out any of my other readings in my different playlists if you're interested. Sending you love. Take care.